Hey everybody, good to be back with you. Welcome to everyone that's new to the Gita Collective. We now have over 600 members. To everybody that's here for the first time, great to have you here. Today we're beginning with text 20, and we'll read through text 20 to 46 of the first chapter, which will bring us to the end of chapter 1. And as we mentioned yesterday, chapter 1 has a lot to do with anxiety. There's a lot of anxiety on the part of the blind king Dhritarashtra. There was anxiety on the part of his son Duryodhana. Both of them were very responsible for this battle that was about to take place. Today we read about the anxiety, the distress of Arjuna. And, for the other two, it's kind of understandable. They have a tendency to behave adharmically. We would expect that type of mindset and that type of behavior based on that mindset would bring on feelings of anxiety. It's natural. But what about Arjuna? Arjuna is very dharmic by nature. Arjuna is like Krishna's loving devotee. Why is he experiencing anxiety? And it was a unique situation that brought it about. And so we're going to get into that today. But before we do, I want to mention a couple things. One is that I'm going to be sharing with you charts in the WhatsApp group. I'll share one below this video from a wonderful book called the Gita Subhodhini. This is a book by Gauranga Darshan Das. He's a brahmachari disciple that lives at the Govardhaniko village, and they have wonderful groups of monks there that do deep study. He produces a lot of great study guides. It's an excellent study guide for the Bhagavad-gītā. Now, I would recommend this book to all of you. It's got all kind of charts and it breaks everything down really well. Only problem is there's 20 available right now on Amazon, and there's over 600 people in this group. There might be one or two other places to get it. I'm not sure. But good luck getting it. But I'll share with you a lot of charts from it and so on to help make your study easier. So that's one thing. Second thing I want to share is on Saturday. This coming Saturday, I think it's probably the 6th, but we can check on that. But this coming Saturday, we'll have a Zoom meeting where all of you are invited to bring questions about Bhagavad-gītā. We can speak about what we've read up till that point. And if you have any questions, please note them down as you're reading. Note down any questions. You can bring them into that group. And we'll have a nice meeting for an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half. That'll be 8 a.m. Eastern time this coming Saturday. We'll share links and you'll get more information on that in the coming week. Okay, so let's dip into it now. What we're reading is, we open up with text 20, and through text 20 and say 21 through 23, we have Arjuna. This is the cinematic moment. This is the moment if you're reading Mahabharata, it's been building and building, waiting years for this moment where Arjuna's on the battlefield. He's ready to carry out his vows. He's ready to fight. And Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his loving friendship has become the charioteer, has become the servant of his devotee Arjuna. So Arjuna calls upon Krishna and he speaks. He says, please draw my chariot between these two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contest in this great trial of arms. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. That's Duryodhana. And we read that having been addressed by Arjuna, Krishna draws up the chariot into the midst of the two armies. And you can imagine, a long line between thousands and thousands and thousands of warriors. And that chariot is going between the two armies. And Arjuna is looking fearless, powerful. He's a hero. Even people on the other army have to respect him, have to respect his greatness. And who's driving his chariot but the most beautiful, all attractive Supreme Lord himself, Sri Krishna. What a vision that must have been. And it says that Krishna drives that chariot. And in text 25, it mentions where he stops. And this is what it says. It says, Bhishma Drona Pramukataha. And that means that this mukha means face. Bhishma and Drona, Krishna stopped that chariot right in the face of the two men that Arjuna had the deepest love and respect for, his, in a sense, his grandfather Bhishma and his guru Drona. And when Arjuna sees the two of them, and then sees so many other people on the battlefield that are his relatives, that are he's got 100 cousins fighting on the other side. He's got uncles, and he's got, of course, his brothers are there on the battlefield, and so many people that he knows are there on that battlefield, and he realizes most of us are about to die, and I'm going to be called upon to fight against my grandfather Bhishma and kill him, to fight against my guru Drona. How can I do this? It's there that his anxiety sets in. And Arjuna, we're going to hear a description of how he's overwhelmed by compassion. And then we're going to hear his reasons for why he feels he shouldn't fight. And I'll be brief about it. We read about how, here's the first reason why he doesn't want to fight, and that is physically. He's overcome with compassion. It says that the limbs of his body are quivering. It says that his mouth is drying up. His whole body is trembling. His hair is standing on end. He's got goosebumps. His bow, Gandiva, which is it's like practically like a dear friend of his, is slipping from his hand. It says his skin is burning and that he's forgetting himself and that his mind is reeling. Now, he gives 3 other reasons for not fighting. And these are really important because Arjuna's expressing his anxiety here, and it's coming out in reasons why he shouldn't step up and perform his duty, which is so important for him to do. Being in that state of confusion is difficult and painful for him. And what we're going to see is that the entire Bhagavad-gītā is to answer these questions, to lift him out of this stage of anxiety, and to deliver him to a point where he's very clear-headed, fearless, and knows exactly what he needs to do and feels inspired and enthused to do it. And so we're going to read about that when we come to the end of the Bhagavad-gītā. He's going to express all this. But one thing that the next reason that he gives, the second reason you could say, for not fighting is he says, I can't foresee any happiness or pleasure, no sukham, no happiness, no bhogam, no enjoyment or priti, no pleasure. I don't see how fighting this battle is going to lead to that. Now, this is interesting because most of us might think, well, that seems like a reasonable argument, but not exactly, not from the viewpoint of wise people, of sages, and we'll see that so many answers will come to this point. I'll just give an example of how the Gita is going to speak to this. If we go to the 5th chapter, text 524, it's just very interesting, right? It speaks that it's speaking to Arjuna, and it's saying that Arjuna, those that seek happiness through external things, actually I believe it's in text 22, it says that wise people don't seek happiness through external things, recognizing that the pleasures that they get for them are temporary, and they're called dukkha yonaya. They actually give birth to misery, right? The external pleasures from temporary things don't actually give pleasure, but that wise people, and we read about that in text 524, they have anta sukha, they have an internal happiness, and they have anta arama, they enjoy within, and they have anta jyoti, they have an internal light in them. He's going to instruct Arjuna, don't be foolish and think that real happiness is derived through external things. Yogis understand that happiness is within. And so later in that verse, he'll say, Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam, that such a person that has this inner light, this inner happiness, that they are a mystic and they are liberated in Brahman. So he's saying, if you want to let go of your anxiety, you won't consider this battle in terms of externally, will it deliver me external pleasures? You'll find that you have a light within yourself from which you can always derive happiness. And if you learn to find that, you can be put in any situation and be happy, be satisfied. So that's one thing. And there's so much in the Gita will be said about this, that Arjuna was mistaken in trying to seek happiness through external circumstances. Now, the next reason that he gives for not fighting is he says it'll be bad karma. Sin will overcome us, he says. If I perform this, I'm killing other people. I'm killing respected people. I'm killing my elders. How could I not accrue bad karma? Don't we avoid karma by not acting, by renouncing? Isn't that what the Upanishads teach? That we walk away from our social roles so that we don't get entangled in all the complicated karmic activities that we're called upon to do in our duties in this world? The Bhagavad-gītā is going to be so important on this point, because it's going to take the Upanishadic wisdom, but it's going to show it in a new light, that you can be a wise sage while being very active in this world. And I just wanted to share one verse that speaks that. There'll be many. 5:10, and also from the 5th chapter, which reads, one who performs their duty without attachment, surrendering the results to the Supreme, is unaffected by sinful reactions as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. Now, this is real important. How could the lotus leaf is in the water, but it never gets soggy, right? It has this waxy coating, so even water's all over it, all around it. It's never affected by the water. How can we live in this world, do the duties that we need to do in this world, and not be affected by the karma that comes with it? There's a way to do it, and that's called karma yoga. And so the first 6 chapters are going to teach a lot to Arjuna, a whole new concept about how we can act in this world without becoming entangled in it. Now, the 4th reason that Arjuna gives not to fight has to do with the destruction of the family. He's saying that so many of these men will die, and that's going to affect all the children that are raised, all the women that have no good men in their lives, all the children that have no good men in their lives. That will also be answered in many ways throughout the Gita. So Arjuna's laying, and we'll share that as when we come across that, I'll tie it back. But here we're getting Arjuna's reasons not to fight. Here we're seeing Arjuna, our hero, this person that we love when we read Mahabharata, suffering anxiety, giving his reasons not to be dutiful, not to do what he has to do. We may all feel that in our own lives, the hesitancy to not do what we have to do, what we know is right, and the anxiety that comes with that. The Bhagavad-gītā is going to give some powerful answers to this. So please enjoy your reading for the next day. I'll share some charts below. Maybe I'll share some other thoughts. And I'll check in with you again tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone, to the Gita Collective. Hari Om Tat Sat.